Hey YouTube, it's Ray Bob. I'm going to be giving you a complete tutorial of the CaptainSim 757, all the procedures, approach, and everything. Alright, so first thing you'll notice is that the cockpit is completely cold and dark. Absolutely nothing is turned on anywhere. So in order to establish electrical power, you're going to come up here to the battery panel, remove the guarded switch, and press the on button. Now you'll notice we have a discharge light over here. That means that we're only on the battery right now, and eventually it will run out if we do not do anything to replenish the electricity. And at that same time, you're also going to want to make sure standby power is set to auto. Next, you're going to come up here to the IRS, system display, whatever you want. I prefer center. You're going to put all three of them from off to nav. Verify that the align light is on and that your fail light is not on. Both yaw dampers should be set to on, and you're going to want to set the hydraulic panel, which means both engine switches should be on. The pressure lights will remain on until the engine is started. All electric pump switches should be off. Next thing you're going to do, bus tie switches should be set to auto. You're going to turn your APU generator on and generator control switches on. Do not click the generator drive disconnect switch because you will not be able to get the generator back online once you do that. Now we're going to go ahead and start up the APU. You're going to put it to on and then start. Hold it on start for about 10 seconds and then release it to on. You'll notice that we have an APU run light over here that will flash a few times until the APU comes online. Once it comes online, you're going to want to verify that this light is solid on and that the APU generator off light is extinguished. Alright, the APU has come online. The bus tie warning lights and utility bus warning lights have gone out, and so has the APU generator off light. Down here at the lighting panel, you're going to want to turn the light override switch on, glare shield and aisle stand as desired. All taxi lights and runway turnoff lights should be turned off. Back up to the top of the next column, the emergency light switch should be armed. Verify the unarmed light has gone out. Passenger oxygen light should not be on, and neither should the ram air turbine. In your engine start panel, engine start should be set to both. Start switch is set to auto. You're going to want to set the fuel panel, which would mean that the cross-feed valves and then all 6 fuel pumps should be off. There's not going to be a pressure light on your forward left pump because the APU is using that right now. You're going to want to make sure all the anti-ice switches are turned off for the time being. Your wiper is off. And down at the lighting panel, your position light should be on. All anti-collision lights are off. And all landing lights are off. Turn on all the window heats. Passenger signs set. Set it to auto. Down at the cabin altitude control panel, your auto rate control should be set to that little arrow right there. You're going to enter your landing altitude, which for us it'll be about 20 feet in this flight. And your mode selector should be auto 1 or auto 2. Alternate equipment cooling switch should be set to off. Don't mind the overheat light just now. Circuit breaker as desired, overhead panel as desired, dome as desired. You're going to want to lock the door. Logo light preferably on. Indicator lights as desired, dim or bright. I'm going to set them to bright. And then over at the bleed air panel, your engine bleed air switches should both be on. APU bleed air switch on. Isolation switch on. Verify your duct pressure is right about 20 psi. You're going to turn both pack control selectors to auto. Turn on trim air and both recirculating fans. You will notice that your equipment cooling overheat light has gone out. Adjust the temperature controls as desired. Back down here in the glare shield, you're going to turn your flight director switch on. Your right VOR DME switch should be set to auto. Down on your engine display, you're going to verify that you have an adequate oil quantity for flight. 10 is good in this case. You're going to turn your computer selector to auto, your thrust reference selector to both, and push to in. And now it's time to set up the CDU, which I will do briefly. And now we're going to be flying only with radar vectors, so we don't really need to set this up too much. Any input line that is all boxes means it is a mandatory input, all dashes means optional. And now this is the area where we really need to pay attention, so we still need our V-speeds. Our gross weight is going to be 189,600 pounds. We're going to have 10,000 pound reserves, cost index 5,000. Your cost index can be anywhere in between 0 and 9,999, and that determines basically how much fuel you use over your flight. Our cruising altitude is 3,000. We're going to take off with 5 degrees of flaps. Put in 29 degrees. So these are our V-speeds right here. That completes our CDU setup. You're going to set your VHF communications panel. Tower is on 118.7, so we're going to do that now. And on the fire panel, you should make sure that all fire switches are off. You're going to set up your transponder, and this is also where you get IFR clearance at this time. We're going to turn it on. Traffic switch on. Transponder should be on standby, and click the test button. We're going to get IFR clearance at this time. We are not going to worry about taxi clearance yet at this time. Also, I would set up your ILS panel if you were going to do an ILS approach. Our approach is going to be visual. At this time, you're also going to put in your departure frequency on your standby COM1. In this case, we're going to be 128.905. We're going to make sure that all the windows are locked and closed. Now we're going to verify that our IRS alignments are complete. They are. Otherwise, you wouldn't see your flight instruments. We're going to make sure the altimeter is correct at the local altimeter setting. Ours is evidently not. It's at 29056. Right now, it is 29092, so let's fix that. There we go. Verify no flag is displayed. Verify the vertical speed indicator is correct with no flags displayed. Verify your clock is correct. It is. On your ADI, you're going to want to check that the takeoff mode is enunciated for roll and pitch, and the AFDS status is flight director. It is. Verify no flags are displayed. On your HSI, verify your magnetic track and present heading are correct. They are. You're going to want to verify that map mode is displayed. It is. If it wasn't, that could be changed with this knob right here. There's the second on the right. Verify no flags displayed. Verify that if you did punch in a route, it is displayed and it is correct. On your airspeed indicator, verify it's correct. Right now, that is correct. Verify no flags are displayed. They are not, so we're good. You're going to set up any ILS, VOR, ADF information that you need down here at this time. Your heading reference switch up under the dash here should be set to normal, which is magnetic, not true. Your alternate flap should be set to normal, and the alternate flap switch is off. Your landing gear panel should be set, which means that the landing gear lever should be down. Alternate gear extend switch in the off guarded position. You're going to punch in your initial altitude. Ours was 3,000. That'll also be our cruising altitude because we're going to be remaining in pattern. And then you're also going to want to punch in your initial heading. Ours is 96 degrees. And then if you were flying with LNAV and VNAV, you would put your V2 speed in here. We are not. We are going to be going on radar vectors, so we're going to put in 250 knots.